Today, can Wi-Fi transform or possibly even revolutionize the retail shopping experience and revitalize the retail industry? My guest today is renowned retail expert, strategist, and speaker, Carol Spieckerman, president of Spieckerman Retail. Join us right after this short message. All right, everybody, my name is Claus Hetting. This is Wi-Fi Now TV. And before I start the interview with Carol Spieckerman, we're delighted that she's here. She's fantastic. I just want to give you or pass on a couple of announcements. The most important announcement is that we're taking Wi-Fi Now, the conference to Washington, D.C. this coming April 19th to 21st. It will be the most comprehensive update on all things Wi-Fi, I dare say, ever assembled. It's a fantastic program. Go to our website and check it out. And our website address is wifinowevents.com/USA. If you have any questions, drop me a line at klaus@wifinowevents.com. Don't forget to mark your calendars. The dates are April 19th to 21st, and it is in the nation's capital, Washington, D.C. It's going to be fantastic, and I want to see all of you there. Now, my guest today, I'm delighted to have her on. Her name is Carol Spieckerman. I've been chasing Carol for a while because she does some great work in the retail space that we want to know about. Carol, welcome to Wi-Fi Now TV. Carol, as a retail expert, which you are, right, what in your view is the biggest challenge faced by retail today? I want you to get into the Wi-Fi thing in a second, but I just want to start with that question.
Well, Klaus, retail right now on a global scale is in a state of complete transformation. So we're in the early stages of this transformation. And along with that, there are many, many challenges, or as some retailers like to say, opportunities. So I would say probably the one at the top of my list is the opportunity to synergize bricks and clicks. Because it wasn't that long ago that retailers were saying, oh my God, having stores is a liability. These pure play digital companies are going to, kill us. And all of these stores are just a big albatross around our neck. And what are we going to do? And then all of a sudden, boom, they woke up and said, these stores can be assets. And more importantly, they can be a critical link to our digital strategies. So I think the big opportunity, the big challenge is going to be to synergize bricks and clicks and all of the details that are involved with that, everything from optimizing assortments, deciding what's better placed online versus in store. And there are a lot of decisions that go along with that they're in the early stages of working on.
And can you share your view on how Wi-Fi technology can affect that change, if you like? And we actually just on the last show we had Euclid Analytics, a data analytics company, come on. Consumer engagement is high on the list, and there's a lot of Wi-Fi companies working on that. Can you sketch that out for us?
Well, Wi-Fi is another place, as retailers return their attention back to the store, it creates tremendous opportunities for solution providers. But of course, there are challenges along with that. And one thing that's kind of unusual that I'm tracking is this convergence between surveillance and monitoring of shoppers and actually the beneficial side of it, which is, the potential to increase volume and sales by providing value to shoppers. And the fact is, a lot of the companies that provide solutions that are surveillance solutions are the same companies that are providing shopper marketing solutions, the ones that can manage, you've got facial recognition on one side that says, oh my God, there's a criminal in the store. And then, the same technology can also say, wow, the dwell time is increasing. They're spending more time in the store. They're attracted to a particular display. So I think that's going to be the next frontier is, parsing those two things and saying, what are we doing that's to the benefit of the shopper with Wi-Fi? And what are we doing that's just solely to our benefit, and loss prevention and those types of things.
Right.
So I think that's going to get interesting.
Right, exactly. And I had Euclid on the last show, and I also asked them the question about privacy and security, because those are controversial issues if not managed correctly from a technical point of view as well, right?
Absolutely. And you know what's interesting is, and I think a lot of consumers don't realize this, and it's going to get pretty scary when they do realize it, is that, there's always a lot of talk about the government tracking, your movements and having too much information and having access to things. But actually from a governmental standpoint, people are more protected in ways than they are from just your average retailer, because it's kind of the Wild West right now. So things like facial recognition and tracking your movements in a store, there's really not a lot, there's not any regulation around that. So I wonder if that's going to suddenly, create some awareness around that. And then I think retailers and solution providers are going to have to be prepared to answer to those concerns.
Do you believe in solutions like directing offers, coupons, whatnot, directly to the consumer over Wi-Fi, or for that matter, over something else, while they're in the store, because you know that they're in fact there because of the location information?
Yeah, I absolutely believe in it, because at this point, the only way retailers can really do that is through an opt-in environment. Mm-hmm. So, but you really hit on the big hot button right now in retail, which is retailers know that they're going to have to be very careful about the quality and the quantity of the content that they serve up to shoppers when they're in the environment. The opt-in thing is a positive. It's a double-edged sword, though. It's a positive and a negative. The positive is, wow, they want to hear from us, and that's great. The negative, or the possible liability, is with that comes tremendous responsibility to be very careful with that relationship that they've allowed you to have with them. So what I'm hearing from retailers right now is they're very concerned about overdoing it, and I'm glad to hear that, because all it takes is one big retailer messing it up for everyone else by getting too excited about all of these new ways of serving up content and just completely inundating shoppers with pitches and irrelevant content. And that'll ruin it for everybody. Shoppers will say, you know what, I'm not going to opt in again. I'm not going to participate with these apps. And so it's a very fragile environment, I think, right now. And I'm glad to see retailers taking that seriously.
Yeah, it's super sensitive, I imagine, because I would certainly also be very easy to annoy if I were spammed or whatever with information that I don't want. On the other hand, it is an opportunity. So I think definitely agree on that, Carol. Can you give us, maybe share with us some advice on what you think tech companies out there should focus on in retail to get into the retail market? Because for a long time we've been saying in the Wi-Fi industry, this is a huge opportunity. And of course, Wi-Fi is everywhere out there, but we haven't really resolved the value add question for the retailers just yet, right?
Yeah, I think there has never been a better time for solution providers and technology companies to get involved with retailers. And the reason is that retailers, after years and years of doing everything for themselves, they were saying, you know what, we don't need your help. We can even create our own brands and market our own brands. Private brands, private label was, something that surprised a lot of people, and they hoped it was a phase, and it stuck around, and it really transformed the industry. But now we're entering into a new period where retailers are saying, you know what, we can't do it all ourselves. We're having to deploy so many resources at digital, at upgrading our technology, at retooling our supply chains, at revamping our stores, for the digital age, that we know we have to partner with others for these solutions. And so it's a wonderful environment to do it. But what I've been telling my clients is to focus on a principle that I call platform positioning. And that is the realization, first of all, the baseline realization that retailers are no longer just places that sell stuff. They are platforms. And those platforms have products and brands for sure, but also solutions, services, big data, acquisitions, partnerships. And so the best success, and this is what I teach in the workshops that I give around the world, the one-day workshops that I do with my clients, is think about how your platform aligns with their platform, how your platform augments theirs and supports their platform goals. And that one principle will change everything about the way that you do business. because you won't be in there just pitching solutions in search of a problem, but you'll really be aligning with their goals. And no two retailers are looking at these technologies the same. So it does involve a lot of customization, but there are ways to create a compelling proposition that will resonate with most of these retailers.
That is so cool. I love that statement, and I hope you manage, perhaps even through this show, to connect with some of the actually very good Wi-Fi companies out there that are working on this, because I'm sure that they could use some of this input, and I hope they're watching as well. But Carol, give us maybe some examples of what you consider, flagship cases, if there are any, of retailers out there that are using this technology to their advantage right now?
Well, I think we've got some early adopters that may be surprising to a lot of the folks listening in. Retailers like Saks, Fifth Avenue. What's interesting is the companies that have the most high ticket items are actually the ones that are probably more receptive to these types of technologies. Going back to that dual proposition, though, of surveillance and mitigating risk, that combines with the opportunity to actually sell more goods. They pair up. So when you've got a company like Saks that sells items that are $25,000, a piece of jewelry, then they say, wow, a Wi-Fi deployment, not a big expense, right? Versus other retailers that might say, gee, we're a mass retailer or a dollar retailer or whatever, and we just don't see the value. So I think Saks has been ahead of the game. Macy's did one of the biggest Wi-Fi, the biggest beacon deployments that we've seen to date in retail. We haven't yet seen the results of it, but there are some folks out there that are, I think, early adopters and really grabbing it by the horns. But what's interesting to me too is it's actually some of the regional smaller retailers that I think are taking a very sensible approach to it as well. There's a grocery chain that operates in Indiana and Ohio called Marsh Supermarkets. And they've got Wi-Fi in all of their stores, 70 stores. And they're taking a very sensible walk before you run approach to where as soon as a customer walks in the store, they're greeting them via the smartphone and just simply providing value. They're saying, here are the deals of the day, and that's it. And then they're leaving them alone. So I think that kind of restraint makes a lot of sense right now until the bugs are worked out and until retailers realize, what really does work and what provides value to the shopper and how those propositions coexist before they start racing into all kinds of tracking and again, serving up content.
Do you think there are any ecosystem, if you like, components, technical or otherwise, that are missing right now, to address this market properly, or is it more a question of getting the principles right, if you like?
Well, it really does return to exactly what you just said. I think it is about getting the fundamentals right, walking before you run, and also to, being very transparent and helping retailers understand what's really involved with all of this. Because I think now everyone's realizing that it's not like something just arrives in a kit and you plug it in and then you say, wow, we've got Wi-Fi and we can just do all this great stuff. I mean, it requires, dedicated teams. It requires hardware and software upkeep and maintenance. There's a lot of pins in the air and a lot of moving parts to these types of deployments. And I think, kind of going back to the advice to the technology companies, I think being very transparent about that and then being very proactive about how you can mitigate those issues and do a lot of the heavy lifting, to where retailers are saying, you know what, this is turnkey. We don't necessarily have to use a lot of our own internal resources to make this happen. I think that's where the success is really going to happen. And I think that's where the opportunity is going to happen for a lot of the companies, the solution providers.
Carol, I think that's fantastic input, and I hope they're listening out there, because this is really important stuff, because we all want to see Wi-Fi for retail take off, not just on the Wi-Fi side, because it also is about the retail business being revitalized with all of this new technology. It's great to have you on the show, Carol. Please come back and join us again, and fantastic to see you.
Oh, it was a pleasure. Thank you so much, Klaus. It was great being with you today.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Take care.
All right, you too. Okay, everybody, that's it for today's show. Now, on next week's show, we will be talking to Bill McGuire of the industry association called Wi-Fi Forward. Bill is heading up the Save Our Wi-Fi project. He's got some strong views on how to safeguard Wi-Fi for consumers everywhere. That's it for today's show. I want to thank Carol Spieckerman for coming on. She's a great advocate for Wi-Fi for retail. And I hope you enjoyed it. Join us again next week, and have a good one. See you then.
Wi-Fi Now is a production of RCR TV News. To suggest a show topic or to learn more about Wi-Fi Now events, you can reach Claus Hetting at klaus@hettingconsulting.com. To find out more about Wi-Fi Now and all things wireless, visit rcrwireless.com.